In the sleepy town of Elk Ridge, where the diner's coffee pot never really empties and the high school football field doubles as a community gathering place, there was a man known only as Eli. Some folks called him the Hermit. Others, the fence man, because he was always seen repairing the barbed wire that bordered his land in the mountains just west of town. Eli didn't come into town often. Maybe twice a month, just enough to keep the pickup running and the pantry stocked. He never stayed long, never talked much. He wore the same faded Carhartt jacket, stained with time and oil, and his eyes, though tired, held something deeper. Like they had seen things they'd never say. Most didn't bother with him. Kids whispered stories, that he'd been in a war, or that he lived with ghosts up in those hills. But the truth? No one knew. And in a town like Elk Ridge, if you don't speak, folks stop asking. Only one person ever seemed to see him, June, the waitress at Marla's diner. Every time Eli came in, he sat in the far booth. And every time, June placed a hot plate of corned beef hash in front of him before he even ordered. No questions. No small talk. Just quiet understanding passed with coffee refills and a nod. He always left cash and a generous tip. She always folded it quietly and smiled. "Morning, Eli," she'd say. He'd nod once. "Morning, June." In a world that moved too fast, their quiet rhythm felt almost holy. But then came the fire. It started with a lightning strike in early July. Dry winds whipped it faster than anyone expected. By noon, smoke curled over the ridgelines. By evening, half the town was packing to evaluate. Eli didn't come down. The sheriff's office sent a drone. It caught a glimpse of his old cabin still standing, surrounded by trees already caught in the blaze. "We tried radio," said Deputy Carl. No answer. "Leave him be," muttered someone in the diner. He made his choice. But June slammed her tray down. "No. That man served this country. He saved someone before. Maybe a dozen. And he's up there alone?" Silence fell like snow. No one volunteered to go. Until a boy ran in, Jesse McConnell, age 10. "My dog," he cried. "My dog ran up the trail near Mr. Eli's house. I couldn't catch her." Panic turned to chaos. They called the fire department. But the winds were too strong. "No way up," they said. "Too dangerous." Then a radio crackled. Sheriff's frequency. Voice scratchy. Slow. Controlled. "This is Eli Beckett. I've got the dog. Name's Daisy. She's scared, but okay." Gasps filled the room. June covered her mouth. Another pause. "I'll bring her down if I can, but if I don't, tell the kid I tried." That was the last transmission. The fire grew. The line held its breath. For 2 days, smoke painted the sky black and orange. Helicopters circled. The trail was closed. And then, on the third morning, as the town gathered in the parking lot behind Marla's, he came. Eli. His clothes singed. Beard streaked with ash. His arm bloody, jacket torn, limp in one leg. And in his other arm? Daisy. Tail wagging, tongue out, still wearing her pink collar. The crowd didn't cheer. They stood still. Like they'd seen a ghost. The kind that didn't haunt, but protected. Eli stayed in the hospital for a few weeks. That's when the story started to unravel. Turns out he wasn't just some old man in a shack. Eli Beckett was a decorated combat engineer, retired Special Forces. After his wife died in a car accident back in '06, on the way to see him return from his final deployment, he moved to the hills. Built his cabin by hand. Lived with the grief. Repaired fences not just of wire, but of purpose. That barbed wire people joked about? He'd installed fire breaks, cleared out brush every spring, dug emergency trenches, years before the government ever mapped that land for wildfires. They found journals. Detailed maps. Rescue plans. He wasn't hiding. He was protecting. Jesse's mom hugged him outside the hospital. "You didn't just save my son's dog. You saved this town. That fire would have jumped the ridge without your line." He nodded, humble as ever. Then turned to June. "Still got that booth open?" She smiled, eyes wet. "Always." A month later, the town council renamed the trail behind the cabin Beckett Line. It wasn't just a fire line. It was a line of honor, built in silence, kept in solitude, revealed in crisis. Eli still doesn't talk much. But every Saturday now, he walks down to the diner. And when he passes by, folks don't whisper anymore. They stand. They wave. And they remember. In a world that glorifies noise, some heroes move in silence. They don't post. They don't brag. They build fences that hold back fire. They carry dogs out of smoke. They sit quietly in corners until the world catches fire, and only they know the way out. Eli Beckett didn't need recognition. He needed redemption. And he found it, not in medals, but in a little boy's smile, a dog's wagging tail, and a diner booth that always had his name on it. Dignity isn't loud, but it leaves a mark. Sometimes, all it takes to be a hero is to stay when others run. Studio microphone. If this story moved you, like and subscribe to the Soul Script. Drop a snow-capped mountain or red heart in the comments below and tell us, who is your quiet hero?